Tala Moana, fellow totally sane exiles. Back in Heist League, Grinding Gear Games introduced a bunch of awesome replica unique items made by inventors in the world of Rayclast. These madmen took existing unique items in PoE and put their own unique spin on them as they attempted to recreate them. This was an awesome concept. Essentially, these people were crafting their own unique items. There's a crangled version of this currently live on the Path of Exile subreddit. Yes, sometimes it's safe to visit. Redditor BriefCut1228 posed this question to the PoE community. What is your idea for a Tier 0 unique? The responses, for the most part, are terrible, but some are stellar, and I thought reading through them would make a fun video. If you agree, keep on watching, Exile. Redditor Rene Diffie said, an item that makes your projectiles orbit around you. So perhaps someone has been playing some Diablo 4 ball lightning meta, perhaps. Redditor Deviant324 said, replica original sin. Oh yes. Convert all chaos and elemental damage to physical damage. All other conversion and gain as extra modifiers are disabled, and nearby enemies' physical damage reduction is 0. Now, this would be incredibly powerful, and I don't even know if Path of Exile's systems will even allow for it to happen. That's probably going to break quite a bit internally. Redditor Dreadmore said, alright, here's what we make. A unique two-handed sword, alright? It has 6 white unlinked sockets, okay? Socketed gems have plus 15 to 30% quality, and we call it Stabula Rasa. Yep, that's a unique item. That's definitely a unique item. Redditor No Brain No Life said, Amulet, Ringless Heathen, minus 10% all resistances, and can equip amulets in ring slots at 50% modifier effects. I think the numbers would need to be adjusted as it might be too OP as is. I really like the idea of allowing multiple unique effects at the cost of the utility rings provide. I'm not sure, would this really be that powerful? Maybe I'm missing out here, but if you have a lot of the modifier effects of amulets, they might be almost useless. Like I'm thinking +1 to all skill gems and +1 to certain types of skill gems. A lot of the stuff would just go down the drain. Maybe I'm completely missing out on something here. Let me know in the comments. Here's another unique amulet by Redditor Zargat. Master of the Self, you are your own minion. You cannot have any other minions. Now, this would most definitely make for some absolutely wild builds, especially made by the minion masters of PoE themselves. Perhaps Gazzy TV would have a little bit of input on this particular item. I'd love to see it just for the wacky and wild stuff people would be able to create using it. We have my personal favorite that I saw in the entire thread, made by Redditor Tama Toenail. Okay. Gloves. You cannot cast socketed ancestral totem skills. Buffs granted by socketed ancestral totem skills always apply to you. And socketed ancestral totem skills have 100% increased buff effect. This is amazing. This has no downside. This would need to be incredibly rare, but I would totally grind out for it. I just am not a fan of placing and managing 2 little red totems constantly in every single rare fight or every single boss fight. Please, please, GGG, make something like this happen, please. Now we have a unique jewel from All Being. My idea would be a unique jewel with Rampage. Rampage has 50% reduced effect. Items do not drop during Rampage. When Rampage ends, all items that would have dropped drop around your character. Oh my goodness, so this essentially just makes an entire loot explosion. Interesting, very interesting, and I'm pretty sure almost every single PoE player that enjoys mapping and enjoys the incursion loot explosions, and anyone who plays Delirium, would use this unique jewel. Here's a unique shortbow idea from Redditor Legend Zector, the Repeater, unique shortbow. Allows you to equip a one-handed sword in your offhand. Skill gems socketed into offhand will proc when arrows strike a target as though it was a melee attack. Arrows count as melee damage. Reskins arrows to look like swords. Lore. On the one hand, it's probably a bad idea. On the other, wouldn't it be fun? Edit. For fun, a set of div cards too. The Board Toolmaker, 1 of 9. Rewards, the Repeater. Lore, Idle Hands are the Devil's Tool. I love how much effort Legend Zector put into this item, and I love how a buff that we could see the melee is just turning melee into ranged. Phenomenal. And now we have Sergeant Cookie with Eye of the Val Treasure Hunter. Gold amulet, rarity implicit. Items have a 25 to 100% chance to drop corrupted. Item rarity is increased by the same amount. In the lore, what you seek may not be what you find. People really want some awesome magic find gear, and this takes it up to a completely new level. This allows you to essentially have Val temples across all your maps. Instead of opening all those chests that drop out the multi-mod corrupted items, you're just gonna find them all throughout your maps. That's actually pretty cool. Love the idea, Sergeant Cookie. Nice one. And finally, we have Zekos with quite the complicated item. Let's take a look. Implicits. Chaos orbs can be used on this item. This item has number N random unique affixes of any unique tagged mod. Number N scales with the amount of chaos orbs used on it, from 2 to 6 ideally. 5,000, 25,000, 50,000 thresholds, something like that. Obviously, the starting amount should be random too. This came to him when he thought what could be the most degenerate gambling mechanic he could add to the game. He's a big lover of the chaos lore, so I feel this would fit amazingly well. The sheer variance would make this the truly sacred Chris Wilson unique. He's not sure what item slot would be the most appropriate. He thinks necklace feels the best because the name should be something like sliver, shard, crystal of chaos, based on the number N of affixes. The method to obtain it would have a thematic twist. Using a chaos orb on any piece of jewelry would have a minuscule chance to transform it into this. It could be in addition to it being in the drop pool or not, depending on how evil GGG is feeling. Also, bonus points, less chaos inflation. You know people are going to gamba so hard for this to get some cracked combination going. Indeed, Zekos. Indeed. This is an amazing idea, and I need to know what everyone else thinks about it. I'd love to see it in the game for those gamblers. All right, and that was it, everybody. Just a few different cool tier 0 uniques. Did you think that all of them actually had enough awesomeness in them to call them tier 0s? Let me know. A massive thanks to each and every one of you who watched this whole video. I deeply appreciate it. And here's an even larger thanks to all those who support me on Patreon and through YouTube. You can find links to support the channel in the description below. Please check out these other videos on screen now. I have an inkling you will enjoy them. Now, Tala Moana.